Trump is to the world economy what a drunk driver is to a crosswalk.
I don't want to be Herbert Hoover.
You want to know how desperate and freaked out the market is? There was a false report this morning that Trump was considering a 90-day pause on tariffs, and the market shifted by 1,000 points into the positive. Over $4 trillion moved in a few minutes. Then it turned out to be a lie, and then boom, back to a 1,000-point loss. And while the world is freaking out, not everyone is upset. Some people are actually smiling.
Вот, поэтому, знаете что, вы думали, вы будете руководить кризисом, люди, сидящие там где-то в Лондоне, значит, соответственно. Нет, командовать парадом буду я. Вот, так сказать, и мой Говард Латник, человек, которого были весь день безумные просто глаза, он нас так радовался, вот этот вот министр торговли, что-то. Вот, который, кстати, высчитывал эти формулы, так сказать, безумные, которые уже 10 раз опровергли уже в американской прессе, ну да бог с ним.
А Нобелевская премия по экономике отменяется. Деньги верните, пожалуйста, в кассу.
Да. Товарищ Фридман, товарищ...
That's Russian state media, and while it's hard to describe Russians as giddy,
товарищ Фридман, товарищ...
they're not disappointed in their boy. The show is called The Evening News, and not surprisingly, they went wild for the Trump tariffs. One of the guests is a political scientist named Dmitry Kulikov.
Пошлин, тарифов.
Who praised Trump for wanting to break everything. And he smirked that it looks like the end of the global system is coming. The global system that's about 50 years old.
Это такой вопрос.
The price of goods will certainly go up in the United States. The old political and economic global system is practically dead. The host then added, Trump destroyed the trust and called for a statue to be built in his honor. That's one big Russian boner right there. Finally, the host summed it up by saying a monument should be erected to Donald Trump. This was a major blow to the system of capitalism. I think he deserves at least a Sudaloff medal. Now, what is that? Well, according to the translators, a Sudaloff medal is a gag gift. It's a well-known Russian expression that describes a worthless award that's given by a master to his servant. So, is this why Trump is doing all this?
Russia, if you're listening.
Now, Fox News and right-wing media will say again and again there was never any connection between Trump and Russia.
Russia hoax is finally dead.
That's simply bullshit. Now, I'm not saying Trump is trying to end capitalism or he's tanking the markets on purpose, although he did retweet this bullshit video.
Trump is crashing the stock market by 20% this month, but he's doing it on purpose. And this is why Warren Buffett just said Trump is making the best economic moves he's seen in over 50 years.
All right, that's a total lie. Buffett never said that.
Now, here's the secret game he's playing, and it could make you rich. So why is he doing this? To push cash into treasuries, which forces the Fed to slash interest rates in May, and those lower rates give the Fed the ability to refinance trillions of debt very inexpensively. It also weakens the dollar and drops mortgage rates. Now, it's a wild chess move, but it's working. Now, you're probably wondering, what about his tariffs? Well, I'll tell you, it's a genius play. It actually forces companies to build here to dodge them. It also forces farmers to sell more of their products here in the U.S. to bring grocery prices way down. We've already seen this with eggs. Now, remember, 94% of all stocks are owned only by 8% of Americans. So Trump, he's taking from the rich short term and handing it to the middle class through lower prices.
That's another lie. No major corporation from Walmart to Nike is saying they're building new plants here because they know the truth that these fucking morons are lying about. We are no longer a country that manufactures things. We don't have the labor pool, and the labor pool we have is under threat of a mass deportation, even U.S. citizens. It's all a lie. It would take years to build these factories, and it's not gonna happen.
For a 2000-style bear market where tech was laid to waste for a very long time, or it might be the big kahuna. That's the one of October of 1987, where the market went down hard for 3 days, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then it went even harder on a day we call Black Monday.
And Trump keeps tweeting lies, and Fox is not challenging one of them. The United States has a chance to do something they should have done decades ago. Don't be weak, don't be stupid, don't be a panican. A new party based on weak and stupid people. Be strong, courageous, and patient, and greatness will be the result. But this tweet is just one of a combination of Trump's declining mental state and state propaganda bullshit. Oil prices are down, interest rates are down, the slow-moving Fed should cut rates, food prices are down, and there's no inflation, and the long-time abused USA is bringing in billions of dollars a week from the abusing countries on tariffs that are already in place. This is despite the fact that the biggest abuser of them all, China, whose markets are crashing, just raised its tariffs by 34%, not acknowledging my warning for abusing countries not to retaliate, taking advantage of the good old USA. Okay, nothing he said there is true. Oil is down because global markets are panicking. Interest rates are down because we're teetering on recession. You think people are buying houses and cars as their 401k tanks? Food prices not even close to being down for families. And no inflation? Pass that along to anyone buying groceries, rent, or meds.
Our farmers will thrive and the price of groceries will come down.
Trust me.
And when he says we're bringing billions in tariffs, the only way that would happen is if Americans were buying at these elevated prices, so we would be paying billions in tariffs. This isn't strength, it's gaslighting. How come that pickled orange brain can't grasp that? Or is there something else at play?
The market goes up, the market goes down.
This was a shocker to me. 64% of Republicans believe that tariffs will in fact cause prices to go up.
Let's get back to Russia. If Trump and the Republican connections to Russia don't bother you, you're not paying attention.
He told Julia Yaffe, quote, "I think Russian propaganda has made its way into the United States, unfortunately, and it's infected a good chunk of my party's base."
Trump has a long and storied financial relationship with Russia, from selling property to Russian oligarchs.
Selling a gold card. You have a green card. This is a gold card. We're going to be putting a price on that card of about $5 million, and that's going to give you green card privileges plus.
Would a Russian oligarch be eligible for a gold card?
Yeah, possibly. Hey, I know some Russian oligarchs that are very nice people. It's possible. They're not quite as wealthy as they used to be. They're not as wealthy as they used to be. I think they can afford. I think they can afford $5 million.
To borrowing money from Russian banks.
Here's how Dodson remembers the conversation.
I said to Eric, "Well, you're the head of his golf services development company. Who's funding all this growth? Because nobody else in America is doing it." I said, "Which American banks?" And he said, "We don't rely on American banks." And I said, "No kidding." I think I said, "So who is it, the Israelis or the Chinese? Because they are the ones that were really spending money."
To his clandestine phone calls with Putin when he wasn't even in office.
What was he doing on these calls, and why so many of them?
It's fair to ask what's he talking about, and I guess it's fair to ask for sure. Okay, and obviously the Trump campaign has put out a statement that it was false.
Not to mention Republicans from Mike Flynn to Mitch McConnell taking Russian money, and all while Fox tries to hide what's actually happening.
Such an important point that you're reporting there, Cheryl, on what the UK Prime Minister is saying, and that is one more element that we're watching. Are we going to see a deal between the UK and the US? Are we going to see a deal between the US and Israel? Honestly, I would not be surprised if this market reverses course entirely by the close. We're waiting to hear any news out of these negotiations out of the White House.
No one wants to think the unthinkable.
They had what?
The unthinkable. That Trump is exactly as he appears. An asset for bad actors who not only own you, but if you ask them nice, they'll pee on you as well.
Are your leaders incompetent, unqualified people compromising national security?
Yes! 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 Terrorizing our communities?
Goddamn right.
Elon!
They had what?
Bloated and fat and disgusting.
I like that.
We're a nation that speaks English.
Look, if something like that thing start goggling.
I don't want to talk about this stuff.
Am I wrong?
Yes!
Tick-tock!
You're in a lot of trouble, Donnie.
I think he's crazy.
I'm Chip Franklin.